Chapter 379, Divine Separation Stage. Is that so? Eldest senior brother sneered, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Everyone be careful. That demon sect powerhouse of the conjugation stage Seal King level was startled at the sight and hurriedly reminded the crowd to pay attention, only to see that high in the air, a white ball of light emerged in the left hand of the eldest senior brother, and a blood-colored ball of light emerged in his right hand. And then, as his hands danced, the two balls of light formed a blood-colored taijutsu, to great circles of arcane mysteries, and they're even fused. Hundreds of harmonization stage powerhouses were instantly shocked. Quickly block. That conjunction stage Seal King level demon sect powerhouse then roared angrily, as he sensed a dangerous aura from above this blood-colored taijutsu. You can't block it. Ice blood reincarnation. Eldest senior brother smiled grimly and suddenly roared. The blood-colored taiji diagram immediately flew out of his hand, suppressing towards those hundreds of harmonious body stage powerhouses. The so-called heaven-exterminating immortal execution formation couldn't hold back the scarlet taiji diagram at all, and the entire formation instantly collapsed. The Devil Sect powerhouse, who bore the brunt of that conjunction stage Seal King level, was the first to be devoured by the blood-colored taijutsu, followed by dozens of other conjunction stage powerhouses. That piece of space was completely shattered, and in the end, only a dozen or so harmonization stage powerhouses escaped. This is my blade's slaughter, forbidden's land, offenders die. Before those dozen or so combined stage powerhouses could escape far, they were frozen by a white blade aura, and in the next moment, a blood-colored blade aura attacked, devouring them all. On the broken dawn immortal mansion, the eldest senior brother held a long white blade and coldly looked down at the entire earth. Broken Dawn Immortal Mansion, Yellow Spring Road. After half a year of recuperation, Kangtia and the others had completely recovered from their injuries, and their cultivation had even refined. However, this refinement was not good news for Kangtia and the others. Zhaolinga said with a bitter face, "Little white boy, I'm going to break through. What should I do?" Out of the four, she was the worst, and had already begun to suppress her cultivation, and was about to break through to the divine separation stage. Me too. The same goes for Little Monk. Little Gold and Brahma Heart were also bitter and somewhat depressed. They were still able to suppress their cultivation, but after the battle half a year ago, after half a year of cultivation, their strength had progressed a lot. If it was usual, this kind of progress he was happy with, but now it was different. Kangtia frowned at his words. Even though he could still suppress his cultivation, there wasn't much time left that he could support it. After all, his talent was very powerful and his strength was growing all the time. Well, Kangtia pondered for a moment and suddenly said, "Now that we've entered the immortal mansion, I wonder what the implications would be if we break through the divine separation stage here." Little Gold and Brahma Heart froze, obviously not having thought about this. The heavenly tribulation should split the immortal mansion along with it, right? Brahma Heart said with some uncertainty. He had once heard of someone just using the defenses of the immortal mansion to cross the heavenly tribulation. After all, the immortal mansion was also a magic treasure. Yes. Kangchon's eyes lit up and laughed. If that's the case, then wouldn't we be able to cross the tribulation safely? Bearing in mind that this is the immortal mansion of a loose immortal, the defense is not something that can be crushed by a divine separation stage heavenly tribulation. But brother, isn't there a rule in the immortal mansion that cultivators above the divine separation stage are not allowed to enter? Little Gold said doubtfully. But we're already inside now. Could the immortal mansion still kick us out? Kangtia smiled. Little Gold came to a realization, then laughed. Then wouldn't this be a good opportunity for us to cross the tribulation? Helm knows how terrifying the divine separation stage's heavenly tribulation is. Especially brother, your heavenly tribulation is the most perverted. It would be even better if we don't have to cross the tribulation to advance to the divine separation stage. Kang Chia smiled, although he was confident in himself, but thinking about his perverted heavenly tribulation, he was also a little weak. Being able to not have to cross the tribulation couldn't be better. I say to you, don't be too happy too early. This is just a guess. Who can guarantee that the immortal mansion won't kick us out after we've crossed the heavenly tribulation? Seeing Kang Tia and Zijin's happy appearance, Fan Ding couldn't help but strike a blow. Kang Tia and Zijin's smiles froze at once. Indeed, they were just guessing. Boom! Right at this moment, a huge aura came crashing down on them, nearly toppling the three of them out of Kang Tia. Only Zhao Linga, who was not far away, suddenly closed her eyes, and her entire body was enveloped by a piercing light as a powerful aura came over her. And this aura was still growing. Oops, she's promoted to the divine separation stage, Little Gold exclaimed. Kang Tia and Brahma Din also stared wide-eyed. This situation was more than familiar to them. It was the very sign of Zhao Linga's promotion to the divine separation stage. They didn't expect that this girl would be unable to suppress it just because she said she couldn't. This caught them off guard. However, now that Zhao Linga had already broken through, it was too late to stop. Don't worry, she's not a special bloodline, and she doesn't need to cross the tribulation to break through the divine separation stage, Van Din said in a deep voice. Then let's see if she be kicked out of the immortal mansion. Then we'll make plans. Kang Chia nodded and looked at Zhao Linga with some sympathy. This girl had dreamed of coming to the immortal mansion. If she was kicked out because of her breakthrough to the divine separation stage, she didn't know she would go crazy. When he thought of Zhao Linga's depressed appearance as she was driven out, Kang Chia couldn't help but reveal a hint of a smile at the corner of his mouth. As time passed, soon, a black object coalesced beside Zhao Linga's body, which had a peculiar shape, with the lower end being long and resembling a stick, and the upper end being flat and resembling a round basin. What is this? Kang Chia was instantly puzzled. Why do I look somewhat like a shovel? Little Gold froze for a moment and said with some uncertainty. But Kang Chia knew that Zijin was right. This black object really did look like a shovel, and it seemed like he had seen it somewhere. After a slight thought, his eyes lit up. Wasn't this exactly the tool that Zhao Linga often used to commit crimes? Amitabha Buddha, Little Monk's eyes have been opened today. There's such a strange Tao God. Brahma's heart stared wide-eyed, followed by a speechless expression. Kang Tia and Zijin secretly laughed. This girl is worthy of being a grave robber. Even her own Tao God manifested a large shovel. I really don't know what the Dharma God she condensed later will look like. They couldn't help but have some expectations. The Tao God was the embodiment of a cultivator's Tao, just like Kang Chon's only one, completely inheriting his hegemonic way. Only cultivators at the outbreathing stage were able to condense a Tao God. Of course, some geniuses were excluded. The Fa Shen, on the other hand, is the embodiment of a cultivator's law. It is different from the Tao Shen. The Fa Shen is the essence condensed by the cultivator's own cultivated feats, spells, and aptitudes. In general, the more powerful the aptitude feats, aptitudes, and spells a cultivator cultivates, the more powerful his Fa Shen will be. Because of this, the attack power of a Dharma God exceeded that of a Tao God, making it a good helper for cultivators. Of course, both the Dharma God and the Tao God were very important. If the Dharma God was a good helper for the cultivator in battle, then the Tao God was a good helper for the cultivator in cultivation. Because the Tao God was like a second Yuan Shen, it was a condenser of the Tao, and it could help the cultivator to comprehend the mysteries and cultivate the feats and techniques which could accelerate the speed of cultivation. My God, what kind of Tao God is this? Suddenly, a cry of alarm came out. only to see Fan Ding staring at Zhao Linga with wide eyes. In front of Zhao Linga, the light of a strange small formation flashed, then quickly formed into a rectangular black object. A rectangular black object that was completely condensed out of formations and contained countless formations within it. So many formations, I really didn't think that this girl was still a formation master. Fan Ding said somewhat incredulously. The formation method was vast and infinite. Some people, even if their cultivation talent was powerful, were an idiot above formations. In the cultivation world, formation masters were very precious and very rare, because there were very few people who could step into the Tao of formation, and those who could become formation masters were even rarer. What's more, the formation method was too vast and required countless hours of research and deduction. Fan Ding found it hard to imagine that Zhao Linga was already a formation master. At such an age, this girl was definitely a genius above formations.